First having read the Book of Myths and loaded the camera, and checked the edge of the knife blade, I put on the body armor of black rubber, the absurd flippers, the grave and awkward mask. I'm having to do this not like Cousteau with his assiduous team aboard the sun-flooded schooner, but here alone. There is a ladder. The ladder is always there, hanging innocently close to the side of the schooner. We know what it is for, we who have used it. Otherwise, it is a piece of maritime floss, some sundry equipment. I go down, rung after rung, and still, the oxygen immerses me. The blue light, the clear atoms of our human air. I go down, my flippers cripple me. I crawl like an insect down the ladder, and there is no one to tell me when the ocean will begin. First, the air is blue, and then it is bluer, and then it is green, and then black. I'm blacking out, and yet my mask is powerful. It pumps my blood with power. The sea is another story. The sea is not a question of power. I have to learn alone to turn my body without force in the deep element. And now, it is easy to forget what I came for, among so many who have always lived here, swaying their crenellated fans between the reefs, and besides, you breathe differently down here. I came to explore the wreck. The words are purposes. The words are maps. I came to see the damage that was done, and the treasures that prevail. I stroke the beam of my lamp slowly along the flank of something more permanent than fish or weed. The thing I came for. The wreck, and not the story of the wreck. The thing itself, and not the myth. The drowned face always staring toward the sun. The evidence of damage worn by salt and sway into this threadbare beauty. The ribs of the disaster, curving their assertion among the tentative haunters. This is the place, and I'm here, the mermaid whose dark hair streams black, the merman in his armored body. We circle silently about the wreck. We dive into the hold. I am she, I am he. Whose drowned face sleeps with open eyes, whose breasts still bear the stress, whose silver, copper, vermeil cargo lies, obscurely inside barrels, half-wedged and left to rot. We are the half-destroyed instruments that once held to a course, the water-eaten log, the fouled compass. We are, I am, you are, by cowardice or courage, the one who find our way back to this scene, carrying a knife, a camera, a book of myths, in which our names do not appear. Diving into the Wreck by Adrienne Rich can be interpreted as to having several meanings. However, when analyzed through a feminist lens, certain aspects of the story can take on clearer interpretations. For example, the speaker can be seen as a woman trying to better understand the achievements of other women in history. The Wreck can be interpreted as the unreported history of women in a patriarchal world that has the final say as to what the average person will know about their struggles and achievements. The usage of a camera is to highlight the narrator's intent to bring back her findings to the surface and spread her newfound knowledge. The narrator's metaphor for diving to search for women's contributions to humanity reflects the odds against her, as well as the little help she receives from the world around her, as diving is considered a solitary task. As she gets deeper in the ocean and closer to the wreck, her motivation and life force seem to waver, to reflect how arduous her journey is. Her intent to see the wreck herself, instead of just trusting what she's read or been told, shows her dedication to getting to the bottom of women's erasure and lack of credit in regards to history. The poem creates a relatively dark atmosphere as she is descending into the ocean, yet also gives off an ambitious tone about finding the wreck no matter how difficult it may be. The darkness of the location of the wreck shows its lack of exposure, as well as how hard it was to find. The atmosphere relates to the theme the poem espouses, that it is worth the effort to find something valuable to oneself or to the benefit of their community. An example of atmosphere being created by a poetic device is the motif of color, as it changes from blue to green to black as she descends, which corresponds with her fortitude and motivation in pursuit of the wreck. Rich even repeats the word black to describe the narrator blacking out, augmenting the perceived challenge of the dive. When the narrator actually reaches the wreck, she shifts from referring to just herself to multiple people, as if she has become one with the mermaids and mermen at the wreck. The author may be referring to herself here, and that she does not think her work will have a profound impact on women's fight for equality, and may get buried under the sea as well. The poem's structure early on is seemingly terse, with shorter and more to-the-point sentences. During the later stanzas, each line on average gets longer. There is no clear rhyme scheme, and stanzas range from 7 to 12 lines. Diving into the wreck relates to my life in that it has allowed me to more deeply understand the lack of women's accrediting and how that may affect them. As I am not a woman, I cannot understand this as directly as one would, but I think reading and analyzing this poem has made me more aware about the lack of women's representation in historical contexts. This was my Ciardi analysis on Diving into the Wreck.